2019 is almost over, and it's been a great year for games, but we're almost to the year of 2020. It's hard to believe that we're actually heading into the 2020s, but it's also looking like it'll be another great year of video games. Not only do we have some great games to look forward to, but we will also have new consoles releasing with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And because there is so many good games to look forward to, I decided to compile a list of the top 25 best upcoming games for 2020. And as always, this is only an opinion, so if I forget any games you're looking forward to, let me know in the comments below so others can discover those games as well. With that said, let's get right into the video. At number 25, I have Crossfire X, which is actually a free-to-play game. Not usually would I have a free-to-play game on a list like this, but Crossfire X is looking absolutely fantastic, and Remedy Entertainment, the developers behind Alan Wake and Control, are working on the single-player campaign for Crossfire X, so I'm expecting this game to be pretty good. Crossfire X will be releasing sometime in 2020 for the Xbox One. It's no secret that Minecraft is extremely popular and it has had a crazy amount of success, so it should be no surprise that Minecraft is getting a spin-off, Minecraft Dungeons. Though I will say that this spin-off seems to fit Minecraft perfectly with dungeon crawling, and it has 4-player co-op. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and it releases on Xbox, PC, PlayStation 4, and the Nintendo Switch in April 2020. Yakuza has had several good games this generation, and it doesn't look like Sega is ready to stop with one final release, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now this one does change the formula up just a little bit, and you actually have real-time, turn-based combat in Like a Dragon. This is quite a big departure from your typical Yakuza games, but I expect it will still be of very high quality. Like a Dragon releases on January 16th for the PlayStation 4. If you like zombie games, one game you may want to pay attention to is Dying Light 2, and something that caught my attention immediately was that Chris Avellone is in charge of the story. Chris Avellone is an excellent storyteller and is behind one of the all-time greats, Planescape Torment. It also helps that Dying Light 2 does look like it's going to be a lot of fun with its parkour mechanics. It releases this spring for Xbox, PlayStation 4, and the PC. Rainbow Six Siege has been one of the best competitive multiplayer games of the last decade, but now Ubisoft is looking to mix things up with a more cooperative focused game, Rainbow Six Quarantine. To some, this may be incredibly exciting as you can play as an operator partnered up with your friends in a PvE experience. Others may not like this change as much as they do prefer PvP. I, however, do expect the same quality as Siege, and I think both can live side by side with one another. Quarantine is set to release sometime in 2020 for Xbox, PC, and the PlayStation 4. Oddworld Soulstorm is the second remake in Abe's Adventure. At the beginning of this generation, we got new and tasty, and now we get Soulstorm, which is a remake of the 1998 classic Abe's Exodus. I've always personally really liked this franchise with its odd characters, its story, and its fun puzzle platforming. It has a release date for early 2020, but no specific platforms have been mentioned just yet. Microsoft Flight Simulator has been a legendary game for years and years, and it may not be for everyone as it is a little bit on the niche side of things, but it's also the best of its kind, and I think the industry has sorely been missing this franchise. Though when you look at the new Flight Simulator, it can arguably be called the best looking game visually. It looks absolutely breathtaking, and any aviator enthusiast I expect to really love this game. Microsoft's Flight Simulator is set to release sometime in 2020 for PC and Xbox. One of Japan's premier JRPG franchises returns with Tales of Arise. Really, I've liked this franchise ever since I played Tales of Vesperia, though for many they've loved this franchise way before even that. The Tales franchise, though, is really good with its action-based combat, and usually it has pretty good stories too. I personally have high hopes with Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise will be releasing sometime in 2020 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the PC. Doom is one of the longest-running first-person shooters, dating way back to 1993. And for its 27th year, a new Doom will be releasing, Doom Eternal. As usually, it looks fantastic with brutal animations and fast-paced mechanics. This really is an old school first person shooter and the mechanics are very fitting of that, but it still feels amazing even today. So if you like those type of games, Doom Eternal releases on March 20th for the Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation 4. Speaking of long-running first-person shooter franchises, System Shock is returning in 2020 with a remake. This is very exciting considering its legendary status as one of the best first-person shooter franchises of all time. It remains to be seen if it will be as good as the originals, but it is set to release in 2020 for Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC. Cris Tales is a game I've closely been paying attention to. This game just looks gorgeous with its art style and animations. The story looks very intriguing with some time mechanics, and it has that old school JRPG flair to it. It has turn-based combat, and I think this game has a lot of potential to be a standout hit of 2020 and could even be the indie game of the year. As of this moment, it has no set release date, but will launch on Xbox, PlayStation 4, PC, and the Nintendo Switch. Ghost of Tsushima very well could end up being the swan song for the PlayStation 4, which is very fitting considering Sucker Punch released one of the first PlayStation 4 first-party exclusive titles, infamous Second Son. Ghost of Tsushima is a big departure from Sucker Punch's usual games though, and it's taking on a very serious tone this time around with gory samurai combat. If anything, it is one of the best looking games in terms of graphics for 2020 that we've seen so far. It is set to release this summer for the PlayStation 4. Another big PlayStation game this generation was made by Team Ninja, Nioh. It's very much inspired by Dark Souls, but it is unique to itself as well. It's very action-packed, has brilliant bosses and character designs. As with the Dark Souls franchise though, it is very difficult, and it looks like we get a sequel in 2020 on March 13th for the PlayStation 4. One of the bigger surprise announcements this year was Bravely Default 2. I mean, I always thought Bravely Default 2 was the sequel to the hit 3DS title, but it looks like I was wrong. Bravely Default is one of the best 3DS JRPG franchises though, and now we're finally going to see it come to the Nintendo Switch. I expect this to be a premier JRPG for 2020. Psychonauts is one of the best 3D platformers of all time for its wacky characters, fun platforming, and creativity. Unfortunately, a lot of people just haven't actually played this game, but don't let that fool you from how good it actually is. The moment Double Fine decided to put a sequel up for crowdfunding, I supported it right away on Fig. Now fast forward a few years and Xbox has acquired Double Fine, and I expect Double Fine to use Xbox's extra funding to make the game even better. Psychonauts 2 will be available on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 4. Animal Crossing gets its debut release on the Nintendo Switch with New Horizons. Animal Crossing really is an adorable little franchise that is incredibly addicting as you grow a community. If you played games like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, you kind of know what you're getting into, but you get that Nintendo quality assurance. Animal Crossing New Horizons releases March 20th, exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. I'm a big fan of Platinum Games. They just know how to make fun games. You have Astral Chain, Nier Automata, and Bayonetta in just recent years, and now we get to see their next game, Babylon's Fall. It looks about like you would expect from Platinum Games and has that fast and frantic hack-and-slash combat. There is no official release date just yet, but it is set for 2020 on the PlayStation 4 and PC. It's still hard to believe that Half-Life is finally getting another game, but this time it's in virtual reality. Half-Life Alyx has been really interesting to follow though, because since it has been announced, the Oculus Quest, Rift, and Valve Index has been selling out. This just goes to show you how hyped people are for another Half-Life game, and it looks like a premier title for VR. This very well could be the breakout hit for virtual reality games. Half-Life Alyx releases this March. Ori and the Blind Forest has been one of the all-time great Metroidvania games, and now years after it's been released, Moon Studios is releasing the highly anticipated sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It looks just as beautiful as the original, and I expect they will have several improvements over the original game. Based off what they have shown, it appears they have really embraced its amazing platforming mechanics, and this is definitely a game to be excited for. It releases March 11th for Xbox and PC. After 2 decades of waiting, Square Enix is finally releasing Final Fantasy VII Remake. Of course, this is only part 1, but Final Fantasy Remake looks absolutely stunning. It will have a few changes compared to the original release, and it does have a much more action-oriented combat system, but you however can also play with a turn-based combat system if you prefer. Right now, Final Fantasy VII Remake has potential of being a Game of the Year candidate. It will be releasing for PlayStation 4 on March 3rd as a year-long timed exclusive. Many people consider The Last of Us as one of the best games of the entire decade. Naughty Dog really seems to have perfected their craft of storytelling with The Last of Us, and now 7 years later, we will be getting a sequel where the characters and the world have aged. It does, however, appear to be much darker and gory than the original, which not everybody has liked so far, but when it comes to quality, I expect this game to be absolutely mind-blowing. The Last of Us Part 2 releases for the PlayStation 4 on May 29th. The next generation consoles are right around the corner, and we do have at least one next generation game confirmed for 2020, Halo Infinite. Halo, of course, is a huge franchise and one of the all-time great first-person shooters, so that alone is exciting, but it does appear it will release alongside the Power Tower Xbox Series X. It will also be releasing on Xbox One and PC in 2020. From Software really has become one of the best developers in the entire industry, releasing games such as Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. But now their next game is set to release in 2020, Elden Ring. While not much is known about this game as of this moment, just the fact that From Software is working on it is more than enough to be excited for it. But not only that, because the author of A Song of Ice and Fire, better known as Game of Thrones, did collaborate with From Software for Elden Ring. Elden Ring will be releasing for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and it's also rumored to be coming to PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, though this has yet to be confirmed. Capcom has been hitting it out of the park recently, especially with the Resident Evil franchise. So far they have remade Resident Evil 1, 0, and 2, but now they're also going to be releasing a remake of Resident Evil 3, and it looks amazing. It does have some artistic changes with the characters, but if recent Capcom quality is to go by, then Resident Evil 3 Remake will likely be one of the best games of 2020. Resident Evil 3 will be releasing April 3rd for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the PC. And the number 1 game goes to none other than Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red is an amazing developer, and in my opinion, they made one of the all-time greats with The Witcher 3, and I think Cyberpunk 2077 looks like it will be another stellar hit by CD Projekt Red. Something I've really noticed about them though is their attention to detail, and I think we will be in for a wild ride with their upcoming RPG. Cyberpunk 2077 releases April 16th for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Anyways though, that's it for this video, but if I didn't mention a game that you're excited for, let me know in the comments below, and as always, if you like the video, don't forget to hit that bell notification and subscribe button. Peace out.